6:45 a.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by J. Yogaraj and read by Mario Vijayavardhana. The headlines. The final decision on the power cut schedule will be decided today. The Examinations Commissioner General says 236 COVID-positive students sat for exams at special examination centres. The scrutinizing of answer scripts starts on January 31st. A just and fair solution will be provided to the students who were affected during the Year 5 examination yesterday. Applications called for the registration of new political parties. The daily COVID cases exceed 800 for the fifth straight day. 15 more people succumbed to COVID-19 in Sri Lanka yesterday. 3 prison officers, including a jailer, interdicted over an inmate's death. In news overseas, Ukraine, US orders family of embassy staff to leave. In sports, the West Indies versus England, Jason Roy, Moeen Ali and Reece Topley star in second T20. The Ministry of Power and Energy says the final decision on the power cut schedule will be decided today. Meanwhile, the Ceylon Electricity Board Engineers Union says that scheduled power cuts would most likely to be imposed from tonight due to the furnace oil stocks at several power plants coming to an end. According to CEB data, hydropower generation had yesterday dropped to 25% of the total electricity demand, and the electricity supplied using coal, diesel and furnace oil has increased to 72%. The Sapugaskanda power plant, which adds 108 megawatts to the national grid, is currently completely inoperable due to the depletion of furnace oil required for its operation. According to the CEB Engineers Union, the 60-megawatt barge-mounted power plant moored at the Colombo harbour only has sufficient furnace oil stocks for another 1.5 days, while the 24-megawatt Utturu Janani power station is also running out of furnace oil and diesel. Accordingly, the national grid is expected to lose around 183 megawatts of electricity by Tuesday. In the meantime, the furnace oil required for the Yuga Dhanavi power plant, which adds 300 megawatts to the national grid, has to be imported. The power crisis has worsened in the country in the backdrop of a decline in hydropower generation and the breakdown of a 300 megawatt generator at the Norocholai thermal power plant. Special examination centres were arranged for the Grade 5 scholarship examination for 236 COVID-positive students reported across the country, the Examinations Department Commissioner General LMD Dharmasena said. Addressing the media, he said those examination centres were arranged at the zonal level so as not to be unfair for every child. The Commissioner General thanked all the health sector authorities, including the Health Ministry and its officials, for their great effort and contribution to make this a reality. Meanwhile, he said the Examinations Department will release the results of the Grade 5 scholarship examination soon. Accordingly, the scrutiny of the answer scripts will be conducted in 40 schools from January 31st to February 5th, the Commissioner General said. Some 7,000 teachers will participate in scrutinizing the answer scripts operating at 400 examination boards. The Commissioner General also assured that a just and fair solution will be provided to the students who have been affected during the Year 5 examination yesterday. The Director General of Health Services has confirmed another 15 coronavirus-related deaths yesterday, increasing the death toll in the country due to the virus to 15,299. This includes 9 males and 6 females, according to the Department of Government Information. One of the victims is aged below 30 years, and 5 others are in the age group of 30 to 59 years. The remaining 9 patients are aged 60 years and above. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The count of the new COVID-19 cases surpassed the 800 mark for the fifth consecutive day, as 838 people in total confirmed positive for the virus yesterday. According to the Government Information Department, the newly detected cases include one individual who recently arrived from overseas. The latest development has brought the total number of confirmed cases of the coronavirus reported in the country so far to 601,886. As many as 576,114 recoveries have been confirmed in Sri Lanka since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. More than 10,473 active cases in total are currently under medical care, and 15,299 in total have succumbed to the virus infection, official figures show. 3 prison officers, including a jailer, have been interdicted in connection with the recent death of an inmate at the Kadrugas Ara open prison camp. Lalit Chamindahettige, 49, a resident of Kandevatta in Matara, had been sentenced to 4 years rigorous imprisonment in March last year over the theft of 10,000 rupees and was later transferred from the Matara prison to the Kadrugas Ara open prison camp. Prison authorities had claimed that the inmate had escaped and was captured by a group of villagers who had assaulted him, resulting in his death from the injuries. However, the daughter of the deceased claims that her father was beaten to death by the prison officers. Prison spokesman Chandan Ekanayaka stated that the inmate in question had escaped from the open prison camp while engaged in agricultural activities and that he had passed away after being hospitalized by prison officers. He said that an investigation into the allegations made by the inmate's daughter at a press conference is being carried out under an assistant superintendent of prisons intelligence. He said that after her statement was recorded, 3 prison officers, including a jailer, a sergeant and a guard, have been interdicted with the intention of not interfering with the investigation. That's local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The Election Commission has called for applications for the registration of new political parties. The application forms can be obtained through the official website or by person. The guidelines and procedures are given on the website.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
And now in Watchlight, health authorities have requested the public to follow the health guidelines strictly as the coronavirus infections crossed the 800 mark for the last few days. Although it was observed that there was a sharp drop in the coronavirus infections during the last few days, this cannot be taken for granted, health authorities warn. The Director General of Health Services, Dr. Asela Gunawardena, said that it is a high risk for the public to get involved with large gatherings or get-togethers. He requests the public to refrain from travelling between the provinces. He points out that 700 to 800 coronavirus patients are still being reported daily in the country. Therefore, he emphasises that the pandemic can spread rapidly again if the public acts irresponsibly.
Coming up, World News.
In world news headlines, in Ukraine news, the US orders the families of embassy staff to leave. In Auschwitz, a Dutch tourist fined over Nazi salute at former death camp. Stowaway found in South Africa, plane wheel at Amsterdam airport. The US has ordered the relatives of its embassy staff in Ukraine to leave amid rising tensions in the region. The State Department has also given permission for non-essential staff to leave and urged US citizens in Ukraine to consider departing. In a statement, it said there were reports that Russia is planning significant military action against Ukraine. Russia has denied claims that it is planning to invade Ukraine. A Dutch tourist has been detained in Poland for giving the Nazi salute at the site of the former Auschwitz-Birkenau death camp, local police say. The 29-year-old woman made the gesture in front of the Arbeit macht frei, work sets you free gate. The woman, who has not been named, was later charged with engaging in Nazi propaganda. Prosecutors issued a fine, which she agreed to pay. The woman said the act had been a bad joke, Poland's PAP news agency reports. The Dutch police say they have found a stowaway alive in the wheel section of a plane that landed at Amsterdam Schiphol airport from South Africa. Flights from Johannesburg to Amsterdam take about 11 hours, with the cargo plane believed to have made one stop in Nairobi, Kenya. It is very unusual for stowaways on long flights to survive due to the cold and low oxygen at high altitudes. The man's age and nationality have not yet been determined, police say. And now the main points of the World News segment once again. In Ukraine news, the US orders the families of embassy staff to leave. In Auschwitz, a Dutch tourist fined over Nazi salute at former death camp. Stowaway found in South Africa plane wheel at Amsterdam airport. That was World News.
Development News is brought to you by Let's take all out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
A digital wallet will be introduced to all citizens after the issuance of the Digital National Identity Card, Minister Namal Rajapaksa said. He said it would allow citizens to keep their essential personal documents including passports, birth certificates, marriage certificates and examination certificates in a digital wallet on their mobile phones and present them at any time. The minister pointed out that the project is expected to be completed within 30 months. He made these remarks speaking at the launch of the Lanka QR code introduced by the Central Bank for mobile payments in Gampaha yesterday.
Development News was brought to you by the coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
And now in sports news, in cricket, England dominated the majority of the second T20 against the West Indies, but ultimately won by just one run after some astonishing late hitting. The West Indies needed a seemingly hopeless 30 from the final over only for Akil Hussain to take Saqib Mahmood for 28, including 3 sixes off the last 3 balls. England earlier bounced back from being bowled out for 103 in the first T20 to post 171 for 8 on a similarly challenging pitch. They were propelled by Jason Roy taking 24 off Fabian Allen's 11th over, as 107 runs came in the second half of the innings.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
2 of the newly completed projects, the Colombo Port City, would be opened in the next 2 months, allowing public access to them as well. With the visit of the Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi, the Colombo Port City opened the Marina Promenade, a leisure walk area open to the public without any pre-bookings or check-in. This is a 500-metre walking path with the entrance from opposite the Presidential Secretariat, and it is an open area for anyone to enter, the head of public relations of Port City, Colombo, Kassapa Senarat said.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Economic news, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
Several new business deals were sealed between the North and South entrepreneurs at the 12th edition of the three-day Jaffna International Mega Trade Fair, which concluded in Jaffna yesterday. The Jaffna International Trade Fair is the most anticipated platform for small and medium entrepreneurs to introduce their products to the population of the North, and many SME companies were able to meet buyers from the South to distribute their products in the South.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
The Weather Report.
The Met Department says mainly dry weather will continue to prevail over most parts of the island. Fairly cold weather can be expected during the early morning. There is a possibility of ground frost at some places in the Nuwara Eliya district during the early hours of the morning. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the western, central, Sabaragamuwa, north central and Uva provinces and in the Kurunegala, Gala and Matara districts during the morning. This weather report was issued this morning at 12:30 a.m. Further details could be obtained by visiting the official website of the department. Meanwhile, the International Weather Forecast website AccuWeather.com reports that the day's weather will be bright with occasional showers. Today's daytime temperature would be around 30 degrees Celsius. There will be light showers in many places in the Colombo district in the night. Tonight's temperature will be around 25 degrees Celsius and there will be scattered showers in select spots late in the night. The ground temperature would be 25 degrees Celsius at the time of this news broadcast. The Air Quality Index AQI is 26, which shows a fair condition in Colombo. The air quality is generally acceptable for most individuals. However, sensitive groups may experience minor to moderate symptoms from long-term exposure. That was a weather report, and now the headlines of this news broadcast once again. The final decision on the power cut schedule will be decided today. The Examinations Commissioner General says 236 COVID-positive students sat for exams at special examination centres. The scrutinizing of answer scripts starts on January 31st. A just and fair solution will be provided to the students who were affected during the Year 5 examination yesterday. Applications called for the registration of new political parties. The daily COVID cases exceed 800 for the fifth straight day. 15 more people succumbed to COVID-19 in Sri Lanka yesterday. 3 prison officers, including a jailer, interdicted over an inmate's death. In news overseas, Ukraine, US orders families of embassy staff to leave. In sports news, the West Indies versus England, Jason Roy, Moeen Ali and Reece Topley star in second T20. That concludes this news broadcast.